We're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates,
5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5. You got me good there.
Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight.
On the unpredictable.
What does she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace to
Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
Welcome along to Patrick Christys Tonight, late edition and breaking right now.
No crazy go on. Please. Yes, please.
Well, he's not dancing anymore. No, Nicolas Maduro has been taken to court in New York. Now, as you can see, he's pleaded not guilty to numerous weapons and drug charges. But as the Metro is asking, who's next for Trump?
Cocaine, they're sending it into the United States, so he does have to watch his ass.
That is President Trump warning the president of Colombia that he actually could be next. And, of course...
The future of Greenland is for Greenland and the Kingdom of Denmark, and for Greenland and the future of Denmark only.
Well, President Trump appears to have confirmed that he would quite like to take Greenland too, but Sir Keir Starmer has tried to bite back. I mean, if you can call it bite, it's more of a nibble with Sir Keir, isn't it? I don't even know what you'd call that. But anyway, back to domestic news.
To go after the criminal gangs, to smash the gang networks.
To smash the smuggling gangs.
Smash the gangs.
To smash the gangs.
5 days into 2026, surprise, surprise, the Smash the Gang strategy continues to fail. We welcomed the first arrivals today. They should have been greeted by a brass band, I feel, on the shores of Dover. Congratulations, you are the first illegal migrants of 2026. And finally...
That man is not allowed in my pub. Get out of my pub. Go on. Get out of my pub.
I wonder if that was the moment that evil was born there when it came to Sir Keir Starmer's pub policy, because he is now, apparently Rachel Reeves anyway, has blocked cash for struggling pubs in the latest attack on Britain's favourite institution. Joining us this evening is broadcasting royalty Christo Fufas. We have got journalist Benjamin Butterworth and GB News contributor and comedian Leo Kearse. But first, let's get those bulletins with Sam Francis.
Very good evening to you. 11 o'clock. The top story tonight. Venezuela's toppled President Nicolas Maduro has pleaded not guilty in a New York court today to charges including drug trafficking and narco-terrorism, insisting, he said, "I am still president of my country." Well, US prosecutors accused him of overseeing a cocaine smuggling network linked to violent cartels across Latin America, allegations he has repeatedly denied. Maduro and his wife were seized from their compound in Caracas over the weekend and flown to the United States in a dramatic special forces operation ordered by President Donald Trump. The unprecedented move has sparked international backlash, with the United Nations Security Council debating the legality of the operation amid fears of wider regional instability. Well, in Westminster today, the Foreign Secretary told MPs she raised concerns about international law with her US counterpart, but stopped short of saying whether the raid breached it. Yvette Cooper said the UK would shed no tears over the end of Maduro's rule.
And in my discussions with Secretary Rubio, I raised the importance of complying with international law, and we will continue to urge all partners to do so at every stage. It is, of course, for the US to set out the legal basis for their actions, and the UN Security Council is discussing Venezuela this afternoon. These issues will continue to be matters for international discussion.
Let's just bring you a few extra lines, in fact, from the Reuters news agency regarding that story, the situation in Venezuela, with Donald Trump just saying in the last few moments that Venezuela will not have elections within the next 30 days, but that the US may subsidize efforts by oil companies to rebuild the infrastructure, and that project, he says, could take less than 18 months. He has also said that Trump will not need lawmakers to act in order to send more US troops back into Venezuela. So the situation at this stage appearing not yet settled, though he has confirmed the US is not at war with Venezuela. That, according to an interview with NBC News in the last few moments. Plenty more on that story with Patrick and the panel as the evening continues. Here, meanwhile, the first illegal boat crossings of 2026 have reached the UK, bringing dozens of migrants across the Channel overnight. The journey was made in freezing sub-zero conditions after several others attempted their crossings but were forced to turn back because of the weather. French authorities treated a number of migrants for hypothermia after those failed attempts. The crossings come as new powers take effect, allowing officers to seize phones and SIM cards from migrants without arrest, all to gather intelligence on people smugglers. And Ofcom has said it has made urgent contact with Elon Musk's AI company, xAI, after reports its chatbot, known as Grok, can be used to create sexualised images, including of children. GBNews has seen examples on X of users asking Grok to digitally undress women without consent. xAI's rules ban pornographic use, but the regulator says it is investigating whether safeguards are failing under the UK's Online Safety Act. And in sport, two giants of the game have pulled the trigger on their managers as pressure boiled over today on both sides of the border. Celtic have sacked Wilfred Nancy after just 33 days in charge. That's the shortest reign in the club's history. Meanwhile, Manchester United have parted company with Ruben Amorim after 14 months for him in post. With the club 6th in the Premier League, United say that decision was made reluctantly, but with no clear signs of progress, change was unavoidable. Those are the headlines. Plenty more from the newsroom, 9:30 tomorrow morning. Now, though, let's get back to Patrick.
You can now watch GB News live across the United States of America and the world on Truth Plus. Scan the QR code to find out more, or visit gbnews.com/truth.
Welcome along to Late Edition. Let's give you all of Tuesday's newspaper front pages, and we start with the Metro. After Trump's Venezuela takeover, who is next? That's what they say. Are there any other countries on President Trump's hit list? Or is he just going to settle for Venezuela? The Daily Telegraph, I am a prisoner of war. That is what Maduro has said as he was in court in America. And they've also got another story which I'm pretty interested in, which is that apparently Rachel Reeves is blocking cash for struggling pubs. We're expecting Rachel Reeves to not give cash to pubs that could well go out of business, and Christo's shaking his head.
I'm furious about it.
OK.
I genuinely am. And I know I banned this word around. I know you're doing the headline, so I can't speak up now, but I'm going to. I know I banned this word around a lot, but I think it's appropriate in this instance. Treason.
Wow. Yeah.
This is another British institution that they are deliberately dismantling. And honestly, I'm not joking when I say that.
Well, we've had farms, we've had small businesses, hairdressers, pubs.
I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, we're all desperate for Rachel Reeves to go to the hairdressers. We are.
Well, she's been a few times, and then she always ends up changing it back. Anyway, The Guardian. Maduro says that he is a prisoner of war and denies all the charges in a US court. Well, you would do, wouldn't you? The Eye, over 70s face a driving ban for failing new eye tests. Is this fair enough, or is this going to be another way of kind of trapping old people in their homes, basically? Also, 70 isn't that old anymore, is it? Anyway, The Sun, when your trophies are nil and you've cost 30 mil, that's a more him. Now, I mean, technically the best headline of the day, obviously kind of ignores what many people would regard as the major international news stories. However, Ruben Amorim, Manchester United, sacked him, and he is delighted about it. I mean, to the point where it's, as a Manchester United fan, borderline offensive how chuffed he is to have been sacked. But anyway, the Mail. Greenland raid will finish NATO, Trump is warned. Is he going to have a go on Greenland? The Times. Defiant Maduro tells a US court, I'm a prisoner of war. The Sun. Oh, we've done the Sun again. So good we did it twice. The Daily Express. New warning over hidden danger of salt in diet. The award for weirdest front page of the day. With everything that's going on at the moment. I get it. Look, I like the Daily Express, don't get me wrong, but what the heck is that doing on your front page today, of all days? Anyway, the Mirror. Madman. So they basically say that the tyrant, who's Maduro in their case, is captured by a lunatic who is President Trump. Which, I don't know, would you rather be a tyrant or a lunatic? So I'm kind of thinking that they are saying that Trump is worse than Maduro there, but... Oh, hang on a minute, which case something coming through to us in the studio now? Oh, what's this? I believe that President Trump has made an announcement. What is it?
Hola, amigos. Yo soy su nuevo presidente, el señor Donaldo J. Trumpo. Your ex-presidente, el señor Maduro, is no longer your presidente. Anyway, we're going to make Venezuela grande again. Mucho grande. El bigger y el better than ever before. We're going to drill, baby, drill.
Yeah, look, I've just got to say, that is AI. In case you didn't know, that is AI. That's not real, but it is hilarious. So let's deal with the ensemble of Trump/Venezuela/Greenland stories that are everywhere now and try and figure out Britain's role in all of this. So if we just cycle through those papers that have got it on, really, I suppose, you know, could start with the Metro. Who's next? It's a good question. Do you think there'll be a next, Christo? Do you think he'll have a bang on Greenland? Do you think he'll go for Cuba? Do you think he'll crush Colombia?
No. The reason being that I think that this is all about Marco Rubio. This is all about Marco Rubio absolutely loathing the Cuba-Venezuela ties over the years, and this has all been about the narrative that was sold to the American people, which was about these drug gangs and drug cartels. That has been, the groundwork has been placed for this for a long time in order so that they could still maintain America first whilst going for this strategic place. That groundwork I don't think has been done with Greenland or any of those other places. So I think if we start hearing about what a threat Greenland is, then they would. But I don't think we've had that narrative yet. And I think that, bearing in mind they have stood on this regime that we're not going to interfere in other places unless it's about America, I think they're on dodgy ground for those other places.
So how do you see this going, Leo? Because, I mean, if America does feel as though we are in a position where China don't give a toss about international law and are, like, nuts, Russia, same, Iran looks like it might be on the way out, it's going to be a power vacuum there. You know, does President Trump not have the right to look at a state and go, don't like you very much, bit of a narco-terrorist, also loads of oil, I'll just have you?
And also that's oil that America previously paid for. America invested in oil firms, spent billions exploring, and then the American-owned oil companies were just appropriated, were stolen by Nicolas Maduro and by Chavez, by the socialists who were running Venezuela. And then China's gone in as an ally of Venezuela, given them lots of military, giving them lots of know-how about how to torture and oppress your own people. Has invested over $100 billion. So this is disastrous for China, because they've lost those investments. They've lost an anti-American ally in the West, and it's also disastrous for Cuba and for Russia. I mean, this is pretty good news. You know what I mean? This is I don't know why people seem to be protesting on social media saying, "Oh, won't somebody think of the murderous communist tyrants?" And it's like, no, I'm with Trump on this one.
But do you agree that they've had to sell this quite carefully, because they can't sell it? I agree that what you have just said is absolutely spot on, and that's what it's all about. And it's about a 10, 15-year plan to also get to that oil, because I don't think the infrastructure, a lot of it's there for long-term gain of oil. But I do think it's a fair comment to say that actually, though, we've perhaps laid it on a little thicker about all of this narco-terrorist stuff. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, because that, to the American people, is a much easier sell than everything you've just described.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say, you know, it's maybe it's good optics to see the drug boats, which are obviously drug boats. Nobody's going fishing with, like, 3 massive 2,000 horsepower outboard motors and big barrels.
Also, when they blow up, there's a lot of white stuff.
It's
like, oh, right.
It's just a very dusty boat.
Transporting talcum powder around. Yeah, you know. Yeah.
So, I mean, that was optics. But yeah, I mean, everybody knows. One of the great things about Trump is he's honest. I know people say that he lies, but when he does lie, he's still honest. He's just open about the fact, yeah, we want our oil back. We want the oil that America invested in. We want that back. We don't want Cuba to be supported by this oil. We don't want this oil being sold to China, who have been flouting the rules. They were buying, like, I think 80-90% of Venezuela's oil.
I mean, is it not just a message, this, Benjamin, really, which is that every single country in the world is now kind of on notice? There's a strength about it, whether or not you agree with what he's done. There's kind of undeniably a strength about the nature of the military operation. There's also kind of a random nature about it, really, which puts Trump in a position of power, doesn't it, in the world? And we, as Britain, we are now, sadly, certainly under Keir Starmer, we are now no longer a great power, and that annoys me, and it pains me to say that. And of the great powers that there are, we should be backing America over Russia and China, shouldn't we?
Well, first of all, the position of Britain in the world has not changed in 18 months, right? Whatever's happened there has happened over time.
Yeah, I think it has.
I think
it's got worse.
I don't agree. But when it comes to that...
You don't think giving away the Chagos Islands, you don't think that all of those sort of international humiliations have actually made us look far weaker in the eyes of the international...
We weakened ourselves in the international community by leaving the European Union. That made it much harder for us to exercise power.
Because if we're in the EU, Maduro would still be in power.
When it comes to
Remain, and I really wish, when I speak to you, Bowden, I really wish I hadn't voted Remain, because I do feel like I'm on the wrong side.
If we're still standing side by side with Luxembourg, oh, what a mighty force we would be.
Anyway, Ben.
Sorry, is Luxembourg in the EU?
No idea.
I don't think it is. When it comes to this, look, there are lots of people in this age of tribal politics who are cheering Donald Trump along because he did it and because it's powerful West. I think you should be very careful about the precedent this sets, because firstly, if he were to go on and do this in Greenland, a NATO member, then that would be an enormous problem for the West and incredibly dangerous. But secondly, the hypocrisy that if Xi Jinping of China pops into Taiwan and takes out their leader, then where do we stand on that?
What do you mean, where do we stand? Xi Jinping doesn't care. Putin doesn't care.
But it's evident that you're wrong. The evidence that you're wrong is that it hasn't happened because they know there would be consequences that would make their economy weak, that would make the world weaker. The fact it's not happened is the proof that there are boundaries. Are we going to bring those down first? Because then how can we stand up to Russia invading Ukraine?
So you must be absolutely furious that Keir Starmer hasn't condemned Donald Trump and think that he is an incredibly weak, woolly and ridiculous leader who hasn't stood up to Trump.
I think right-wingers should stop being lemmings and stand up to Donald Trump, the man who got elected saying that he won't intervene in foreign wars. Why won't you say that?
I've just got to pull you up on the issue of China taking out the leader of Taiwan. And that just wouldn't... That's not what China wants in Taiwan. China wants to take over Taiwan, like Russia wants to take over Ukraine. So taking out the leader of Taiwan, he'd just be replaced by another leader who...
Which is what's happened in Venezuela, by the way, because they've not changed the regime.
I think
they've just swapped it for the deputy.
A bit more friendly to America.
Crimea, no consequences there. But why won't you condemn Keir Starmer for not standing up to Trump?
Well, look, Keir Starmer has been a politician. He's been a prime minister. The truth is that Britain intervening in a dispute between the Americas would not change any of the policy, but it's still wrong.
Let me just deal with what Maduro has actually said in court today, because, I mean, there's been these iconic pictures. I know we've played some of them over the course of the previous shows. I hope we might be able to find them of him today. So, you know, it's him, like, being led into the helicopter, all of this stuff. I mean, this bloke kind of defenestrated in public. There you go. But what he's actually said is, I am a prisoner of war. I've been kidnapped. I am not guilty. I'm not a narco-terrorist. All of that. So, to be fair, it's in a New York court. It's going to go to New York court. The Americans do actually have to prove this, don't they?
And also, I think this might be a setup. This might be a negotiated exit for Maduro, because, I mean, about a week ago, he was asking for $200 million to leave as leader. He just said, look, just let me keep $200 million that I've stolen off the Venezuelan people, and I'll happily leave. And America said no, and then this happens, and it went went very smoothly. I don't think the security guards that were killed in the special operation were part of the negotiated exit, but. Was Maduro in it? Is this something he's just gone along with, and they've had this whole almost like wrestling, this kayfabe to.
And just to be clear, Donald Trump just pardoned a former leader of Honduras over drugs claims very similar to the ones made against Venezuela. And so if he's saying the reason was because of narco-terrorism, which may be a very real problem, he just excused another person for the exact same crime. And so I think you're probably on the money that this is never going to go to court. This is some kind of negotiation position.
That's part of the reason. That's not the reason that this has happened. It's part of the reason. It's a little tiny part of the reason, but I don't believe it's the reason it's happened.
What do you think is the reason?
I think that Venezuela is very, very strategic. It's very mineral rich. It's very oil rich. I think Marco Rubio has never got over his Cuban ancestry and roots and his loathing of those sorts of regimes. I think that he has driven an awful lot of this, and I think they've sold it to the American people as we're protecting the American people over drugs. And I think that's a part of it. I don't think the drug problem doesn't exist, but I don't think that the drug problem probably justifies this.
I feel as though we are... All this talk about international law, I mean, we have it all the time in this country, most notably with the ECHR and the fact that we've got an open border in the Channel and a procession of murderers, rapists, paedophiles and terrorists are allowed to just wander into it. We are obsessed with international law in a way that no big power is. I wonder whether or not we are not on the wrong side of history, but we're behind the times when it comes to this. We are living we are outdated.
United Kingdom first. This is, without a doubt, sorry to jump in on your answer, but without a doubt, this is America first, whether you like it or not. They are saying, right, these are our interests. We have not been United Kingdom first for as long as I can remember.
Well, our entire judiciary, our entire legal system and our political system seems to put the United Kingdom last. Even the ECHR doesn't require us to have such ridiculous treatment of terrorists and asylum seekers and people like that. We interpret the law in such a way that it's just ridiculously against our own interests. Even like last week, £250,000 being awarded to a terrorist under ECHR rules. Yeah, that's a nonsensical interpretation.
Just so you're looking at the Times on your screens now if you're watching us on television, and I'll just give you that bullet point list of where we are, because I think really it kind of summarises the Venezuela situation perfectly. Ousted leader Maduro pleads innocence. Trump has been condemned in the UN, and Denmark fears the threat to Greenland. So that is as of 11:20 on Monday evening. That is the state of play, which is basically Maduro says he's innocent. Trump, is basically kind of being slammed a little bit by some of the United Nations, and the new line is, well, what's next? Is he going to have a go on Greenland? All that stuff. So that's where we are anyway. So coming up in just a moment.
That man is not allowed in my pub. Get out of my pub. Go on. Get out of my pub.
Find out what Rachel Reeves is planning to do to pubs and why Christo thinks it's treason. Stay tuned.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters. Real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact that Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Martin Daubney, weekdays from 3 p.m.
Yeah, so when I was 5 years old, one of my family members, friends, was looking after me one day, like babysitting me. And then on that day, it was a well-trusted friend of our family, was babysitting me and took me upstairs, and he raped and abused me. So from then on, I've suffered and suffered. One of the things that he did say to me was that he would kill me or hurt me in my sleep. So ever since then, I've always suffered with PTSD, night terrors. It never goes away.
It took 20 years for you to face it to
20
this.
years, yeah, to ever come out about what had ever happened to me. My parents didn't know. I didn't tell them anything.
Because a lot of men in your position, a lot of boys in position, they'd rather just take the burden of shame on. That comes at a great, can come at a great cost.
Yeah, lots of friends and family, and I was just scared to tell them, you know, because obviously as well, if I did ever say anything about it, he was going to come and get me. So I managed to find an organisation which is charity run called Arch Teesside, which is near where I live, and I went to go see them. And my therapy at the time, the guy was called Dave Taylor. And he was a big guy, full of tattoos, and you know, when you see somebody, you think, how am I going to open up to somebody of this man, you know? And I hit it off like straight away. And I've always told him, this is what I love doing. I love going to the gym. I want to step on stage by the time I'm 40. And then that's what I went and did.
And look at you there, man. I mean,
what modelling shots, yeah.
You said in your book there, hold your book up, people want to get a copy of this book. Tell them what it's called, mate.
Buy the book.
What's the book called, mate? Tell them.
It's called Breaking the Silence, A Champion's Journey.
And this is it. And your message that you say, if you help one other person out there to channel their pain into purpose, mission accomplished, mate.
GB News, the People's Channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Welcome back to Patrick Christys' Night Late Edition. Now, as you've been hearing, a lot of the front pages are understandably going off on various different angles on Venezuela. We've kind of done that a bit now, so I'm going to talk about something that affects all of us, which is the death of pubs. Rachel Reeves, on the front of the Daily Telegraph, has apparently blocked cash for struggling pubs. I'll give you some more detail on this. She's blocking new financial support for pubs, despite Sir Keir Starmer admitting that many will struggle with new business rate changes. In her November budget, the Chancellor announced COVID-era business rates relief would end in April, having previously been scaled back from 75% to 40%. This means that some village pubs also face paying business rates for the first time under a re-evaluation plan announced after the budget. So, yeah, I
remember they sold, sorry to interrupt, during the budget that, you know, everyone was going to be better off because of the business rates. They then re-evaluated them the day after the budget, meaning that loads of pubs and loads of places would then start paying them for the first time or being recategorised so they had to. Then Keir Starmer said, well, actually, I admit some pubs are struggling with this, tried to get cash from Rachel Reeves to make those pubs have an easier time, and Rachel Reeves said, no. No money.
So this is the story that basically that pubs are calling for, and the business secretary, apparently Peter Kyle, is calling for it. And yesterday, well, I think we have got a clip, have we, of Keir Starmer? So I think this is actually today what he said about this issue.
Acknowledge for pubs and others that the re-evaluation means that they will struggle in relation to the business rates applicable to them. That's why we're working with them, and also other measures. They want more freedom for licensing. They want more freedom to actually open for longer, and we're very open to that discussion with them.
Well, the news on the front of the Telegraph is that, you know, it seems like the Prime Minister might quite want it, it seems like the Business Secretary quite wants it, it seems like pub wants it, but Rachel Reeves and the Treasury are saying no more money for pubs.
I don't want it either. Why has everybody got to be bailed out by the government? This is COVID relief. But, sorry, do any of us have COVID? No, we've got good old-fashioned colds and runny noses. Just like COVID. So, yeah, I don't think, you know, I think at some point we've got to accept that the spigots can't keep running forever. Is that spigot?
I've never heard that before, but I'm willing, because you're Scottish, I'm willing to say that's some kind of, like, Scottish patois.
It's, yeah. I'm sure we've got these taps in Whitehall that you turn them on and money just flows out and they just spaff them on businesses to try and buy votes.
That's the word I understand.
There's no way. Like, these pubs, the buildings can be converted to mosques. It's all going to be fine. Don't worry.
Treason.
treason for him, treason for Rachel Reeves, definitely treason for you. I mean, anything that comes out your mouth is treasonous, and you're on borderline at the moment. I'm sorry. No, this is completely right. Okay, I get it. COVID relief, nonsense. Don't need that anymore. But they could instantly make pub life easier for pub life by doing a VAT cut, by having a different rates category for pubs. Why?
Why can't everybody get that?
Because,
I want a rate
because
cut.
we are losing pubs at a rate of so many daily. We are
You're going to
losing
lose
pubs.
me at a rate of knots.
Yeah, but you are not a British institution yet.
There's not one Leo Kurtz in every village, is there, though? You know what I mean?
Under my plans, there will be.
They don't like it because it's traditionally British. They don't like it because it's a place where people congregate. They don't like it because, I don't know, it might be a little bit of fun by people having a couple of drinks, and heaven forbid that people do that. They don't like it because they've been banned, and they don't like it because they want to be able to control it.
They're not shutting down the wine bars in Islington, are they?
Well, except that the same rules would apply, right? And first of all, they shouldn't be getting COVID relief at the rate they did during a pandemic. That's blatantly ridiculous. It's our money that goes to give that relief. And actually, you say it's Christo makes out it's some kind of conspiracy against the nature of a pub. Well, actually, the reason that many pubs are closing is because not as many people want to go to them. They make different choices. They do go to wine bars, or they go to cafes, or they stay at home.
They got mosques.
But let's just be clear, theatre attendance is up, for example. People are making different choices about what they do with their spare time.
People are becoming fancier.
Well, middle class might be the word I'd use. But the truth is that if you have a problem with that, then you have a problem with the fact that there's a generation of people that don't feel welcome, don't feel interested in pubs.
You know, it's almost
the price of beer, mate. I'm sorry, you're really overthinking this. Going to a pub and being charged £8 or £9 for a pint, or going to a pub and being told that that double gin and tonic is 15 quid. You're not doing it. You're going to go to Sainsbury's, you're going to get cheaper booze, you're going to drink it at home.
Yeah,
pubs aren't very nice.
I've never paid for a pint in a pub, but I mean, it's terrible to hear that.
To see other people doing it.
Yeah.
It must be that much. It must be sickening for you to see other people paying that amount of money.
Yeah. They must be insane.
Yeah. Well, you'd have to be, wouldn't you?
But what's so special about pubs? I mean, I much prefer wine bars, to be frank with you. I find pubs sort of dirty, grotty, horrible toilets, smelly, often overpriced. That is part of it. Well, maybe they do, but I don't charge them £8 to...
Oh, no.
That won't finish
more than that.
Have been in a lot of pub toilets, and you are right. They are horrible. I don't like any pub toilets. I judge pubs sometimes by the toilets. I don't know why they're all so cold. I don't know why the cubicle is so flimsy. I don't know why the urinal looks like it's, older than the pub itself. However, that is part of our British life. That is a British institution. And why are we trying to get rid of this stuff? Why don't we... I mean, you seem to have forgotten the basic rules of supply and demand, which are that if something's a little bit cheaper, people tend to consume it.
Sorry, can I just do it? I've just spotted something else on the front of the Daily Telegraph, which I'm desperate to get Leo Kurtz's view on this. Are you ready? Can we bring up the Daily Telegraph again? It's their nip on the bottom left hand. Scots granted a World Cup bank holiday. So Scotland will get a World Cup bank holiday to mark the country's first game in the tournament for almost 30 years.
Well, this is great news for the 5 Scottish men who have jobs. No, this is. I mean, I think we can handle Scotland getting a bank holiday for getting into the World Cup, because it's only going to happen this once this millennium.
I don't know, you're looking pretty good, mate.
They're going to win.
Yeah, I think can you imagine? Can I just say the difference in reaction? So, like, when Scotland qualified for the World Cup, there's people in England, by and large, not everyone obviously, but loads of England fans were like, "Oh my God, it's amazing! That was brilliant! You've seen the goal? That was fantastic! The drama of it." Whenever England play, this guy's like, "I hate you! I hate you! Why are you so chippy?"
I'm sorry. I've apologised for that voicemail.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess Scotland still has a bit of a chip on the shoulder about about the whole centuries of oppression and stuff. But
right. Not over that.
I'm totally over it. You know what I mean? I think when England and Scotland worked together to build an empire, like England did the conquering and Scotland ran it, I think that was the glory days of this country, and we need to bring those back. We need to invade somewhere. Why is Trump doing all the fun stuff? Where can we invade?
Well, we don't want to invade Scotland again.
To Wales?
But no, you don't deserve a bank holiday. If you're going to be treasonous against pubs, and also perhaps Scotland has never got over the 1996 goal that Gaza did when he sort of clipped it over the goalkeeper and went in, so we went 2-1 up, and we actually ended up doing far better in Euro 96 then than you would have thought.
Fantastic. Did you just literally Google that?
No.
All right. Anyway, right, coming up in just a moment.
To go after the criminal gangs, to smash the gang networks.
To smash the smuggling gangs. Smash the gangs.
To smash the gangs.
So just 5 days into 2026, illegal migrants are already crossing the English Channel. There's a new tactic, though, that Sir Keir Starmer is bringing in. Will it work? No. It's next.
Evening. Yes, it's time for your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. It will turn milder slowly through the latter half of this week, but the cold spell continues for now. Hard frost, a continued ice risk, and yes, further snow in places. That said, the snow showers in eastern England from today are fading overnight, but it could still be very icy here. Still a few flurries coming into parts of Wales, southwest England, and we will continue with a snowy risk over parts of Scotland and Northern Ireland, but complicated by some rain edging in here at the same time. Wherever we've had snow or rain falling, it could be icy as temperatures tumble down to -3, -4. That's towns and cities. Rural spots could, where there's snow lying on the ground, get to minus double figures. Now, it won't be as cold tonight across Scotland as last night because we've got more clouds spilling in. That's producing that mixture of rain, sleet and some snow, which could still be heavy, particularly over northern Scotland. Could be a slippery start for Northern Ireland, and for southern Scotland, northern England, you may also wake up to a covering of snow. The snow showers easing across these eastern areas, so a bright start here, but it could be icy because of the showers we've had today. Same goes for Wales and southwest England. Mostly a fine, dry start here, and in fact, much of the south will be dry and fine for most of Tuesday, but still on the cold side. It's across Scotland where we've got the greatest risk of further problems from the snow. Could be quite heavy across parts of the north. Further south, patchy rain, mostly for Northern Ireland and Northern England, with some hill snow mixed in. Still cold, but temperatures are just ticking up a little bit as we go through tomorrow. Wednesday sees a weather system clearing through, leaving behind still a northerly wind, still some wintry showers for Scotland and northeast England. A few rain showers possible elsewhere, but again, many areas dry, bright with some sunshine, but still cold. Temperatures ticking up a little, but there will be a particularly strong wind picking up in areas during the course of Wednesday. Check out all of those Met Office weather warnings for yourself on the Met Office website.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters. Real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact that Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Late Edition. Let's take you straight to the front of... it was on both of the Times and the newspaper, actually, so take your pick. Why don't we do the newspaper? And it is that over 70s are apparently going to be made to take eyesight tests, and if you fail the eyesight test, your optician, I think, will report you to the DVLA, and your licence will be taken off you. Their bullet points list on this are cognitive testing as well is under consideration. Officials are planning to introduce tougher penalties for people who are driving without insurance. Well, that's fair enough, I suppose. But I think it's more the age thing that I'm focused on. Bev Turner joins us now in the studio, unrelated to age, of course. She's timeless. She's timeless.
Our specialist guest on the subject.
I was going to say, as someone who is who has a pulse on a finger on the pulse of the nation, Bev, how do you see this going down?
Someone who has a pulse.
Someone who has a pulse. Yeah.
The worst thing about getting old is this.
How strong are they?
Only 1.1, 1.5, but they are like wheelchairs for my face is how I feel every time I put my glasses on. It's like an admission of age, isn't it? Because I had 20/20 vision my whole life. It's the worst thing about getting old. I think this is not necessarily a bad idea, But if you look at the statistics, the number of people who 12% of all casualties in car crashes involved older drivers. Isn't the problem younger drivers when it comes to road safety? Not older drivers. They tend to drive slowly and more carefully. It's the youngsters who need stricter...
They're driving too slowly to get out of the way of the young drivers.
But you see, I'd rather young drivers, first-time drivers, had to do advanced driving, driving in the snow, driving on the motorway. Like, let's get them better at driving before we start tinkering around with the elderly.
I think when you're seeing, like, the elderly now, I have a big thing about, you know, kind of loneliness and isolation amongst the elderly, and I think we should be trying to do more. Obviously, look, you can't... It's difficult to make the case for how if someone's got catastrophic eyesight and late-stage dementia, that they should be allowed to drive their Nissan Micra from here to Birmingham. But I do feel...
After they've watched your show.
After they've watched my show, yeah. But I do feel like we should be doing a little bit in... There's a lot of older people who are going to be reading these headlines that are very scared now because it's going to isolate them.
And I think, again, in principle, it's quite a good idea for the reasons you've outlined. I have absolutely no doubt that this government would screw it up completely. I think it might end up being an adverse cost to older people because will they have to pay for these eye tests? Will they get them for free?
Yes.
Will it end up being a stick and to beat older people with? And is it just a way to get more people off the road?
Yes.
Because of the fact that they don't like people actually having the freedom to drive. So principle good, practice I think will be disastrous.
Benjamin, you don't like old people.
I love old people, but I don't think
slag 'em off.
I don't think they should be dangerously driving when they can't see, right, or they're cognitively impaired. I actually find it a bit terrifying that this isn't already the case because, you know, I remember my late grandmother when she got cataracts, she was devastated to have to stop driving, but she made that decision voluntarily because she knew it wasn't safe on other people. My late granddad had Parkinson's and he continued until very late in that process. It was illegal. He would have stopped if the doctor said so, but it probably wasn't safe. And so I actually think you made the point earlier that there are probably lots of families where they might be glad of someone saying, hang on, I think maybe it's just not safe to keep the keys in your hands at this stage.
Self-driving cars are about to be here. Like a self-driving Tesla drove all the way across from the east coast to the west coast of America. Wasn't part of any rat beef, just to show that it could do it.
Then burst into flames.
Yeah, no, honestly, these self-driving cars, they're already in so many countries. It's just we've got really tight regulations because we've got to make sure everything's been signed off. We can't have a water bottle top that actually comes off. So I think within a few years, older people aren't going to need to drive. They can just order a self-driving car and it'll take them wherever they want to go.
That would be fantastic for them.
And they do get free bus passes, I think, from the age of 60 across the country.
Just get into the bus stop there.
I mean, that will help.
But here's the thing. They haven't had to do this until now. So you've just got to ask why. Why now? Why is it this blooming government who is trying to stop people getting in their cars? Because, as you say, Christo, that will be the effects of this. Will be elderly people will just feel too nervous about driving. And up until now, they have been trusted to make these decisions for themselves. Why are we taking that away from them?
And it's not like we have the most amazing, cost-effective, brilliantly efficient public transport system in some of these rural areas as well, where people rely on their cars. I don't think anyone would say that if you have, you know, if you are your sight is failing or you have like cognitive problems like Benjamin, that there is a trouble for you to drive. It's just the fact that I think it will be a way of penalising people.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, Bev predominantly is here, apart from the fact that we just really like her because she has a show coming up for 2 hours after this one. And look, I mean, I imagine the main story for you is going to be the... What's your take on everything?
Main story, Venezuela. We are going to be talking to Jason Miller, one of the key members of Trump's team. And on the call earlier today, we talked a little bit about this situation. We will tell you what is really going on with Greenland. His reaction was very telling. We're going to be talking to all sorts of American experts who will give you their perspective from America. What is going on and what is this idea that is going to plunder Greenland? I think it's absolutely ridiculous.
So this is on the front of a couple of papers. The Daily Mail's got the most on-the-nose one about Greenland. Greenland raid will finish NATO. Trump is warned. Now, I don't expect you to give away everything we're going to hear on your show, but is it a little bit ridiculous that people are now, you know, kind of going on about Greenland?
It's absolutely ridiculous. And we're going to look at where this rumour came from. Partly what was said on Air Force One overnight, with Trump returning to Washington from Florida, but Largely, it was a tweet from one of his closest advisors' wives. And we'll be telling you why she might have tweeted this. This is where it came from.
Oh, interesting.
And, yeah, so we're going to be talking to him. We've got all sorts of great American guests on tonight. We're going to be, put my wheelchair for the eyes on, talking to Major Michael Shearer, British Army spokesman. We've got Michael Waller, former CIA operative. We're going to be talking to Jim Trusty. He's a former assistant US attorney and former Trump attorney as well, about the charges taken against Maduro. Obviously, he pleaded not guilty today, but what might happen next, and is this just all about oil and China? Yes.
Wow.
In a word.
OK, all right. Well, we'll watch this space for all the latest stuff. I was reading a little bit about this, some of the weaponry that America used apparently during this raid. Like this blackout bomb, which supposally, well, just
turned off all the lights.
Which it did, didn't it?
Yeah.
So, you know, there you go.
Amazing.
But the thing is, if you take out all the kind of moral stuff about this, or that terrible phrase, international law, or anything, it's just really quite cool. Yeah, just the way that they've done it. I mean, it is. Like, if this was like a film, it's just quite cool. You know, like, they've just kind of, like, come in over a country, swooped in. One thing I want to see is the footage of Maduro when he was nicked, because if people might miss this, but when they did the big press conference over the weekend, President Trump was asked by a reporter, what was Maduro doing when you got him? And Marco Rubio was behind him, and he started giggling.
Sniggering, yeah.
And I'm like, what was it that Maduro... I'm desperate to know. What was he doing at the moment that the US troops have come in? Like, I just get the impression it was something really humiliating.
Well, I will ask our guests tonight, because some of them might have an inside track on that, actually. And if you look at those pictures of Maduro with his handcuffs on, but doing his thumbs up, saying Happy New Year to the reporters. Yeah. I do not believe for a second that he didn't know that that was about to be sprung upon him.
Do you think he's been bought off? Because a week ago he asked for $200 million.
Absolutely. Not necessarily bought off, but have there been conversations behind the scenes which brought us to this point? 100%. I would bet my house on it, yes. All right. Yeah, I might be wrong about that, but yeah, I'm absolutely sure of it. I don't think we'll see him behind bars anytime soon.
Interesting. OK, well, coming up, it's a little bit cold, which means one thing and one thing only. You are now being officially urged to stay at home. Bit of an overreaction? That's next.
I forecast a perfect holiday in the sun.
Weather looking good then?
For sure, and no worries about our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GBNews Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello there. If you're after some warmer weather, Greece at the moment seeing temperatures above average. Still the risk of some showers across the Canary Islands at the moment and parts of Madeira. Perhaps southern Spain also seeing 1 or 2 showers, but generally some bright skies around. Heavier rain for parts of Italy on Tuesday. Could be thundery at times, and then the risk of some showers into Greece, but temperatures well above average for the time of year. And it remains so here for the next few days until eventually starting to cool down.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GBNews Travel Destinations Forecast.
In the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I ever got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
no,
Because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates,
5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5. You got me good there.
Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show. It's not a bad brand.
Yeah.
Uncensored. Very, very racist tonight on the unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace
Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News,
the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
OK, welcome back to Late Edition. So it's a bit cold, isn't it? Bit chilly out. Well, you have now been told to stay at home. So snow fell across large parts of the country on Monday. Hundreds of schools closed, travel disruption, but there was also snow across Europe, who seems to be coping a bit better than us. So here's Paris. Business as normal, apparently, in Paris. Shall we look at Norway? How's Norway getting on? Oh, yeah. Normal for them. Normal for Norway. And finally, quick look at Britain. Everything stopped. And everyone must stay at home. Yeah, you're being advised, seriously, the health advice is to stay at home.
Yeah, well, I didn't follow the advice. I came here instead. I came to the GB News studio, which is actually warmer than my house.
Yes.
So I made the right call. I'm probably going to make it through the night.
You are. It's one of these overloads. When it gets above, like, whatever degrees, it's like all the announcements on the underground. Don't forget to drink water.
Yeah.
So, oh, good. I'm glad you said that, yeah, because I was just going to die.
Yeah.
I was just going to sweat myself to death. Brilliant. You don't think it's a little bit ridiculous?
I'm reading it now.
Well, we're not very well prepared as a country for variable weather, are we? If it gets a bit cold, a bit icy, then the trains go down. Leaves on the line, that's autumn out.
That
and then,
annoys me.
You know, increasingly gets warm in the summer, 35 degrees sometimes, and then we're all shut down for other reasons.
Well, because the unions want you to be able to go home early if it gets to a certain temperature, including nurses. Sorry, having a heart attack. It's hit 35 degrees, so I'm clocking off.
Well, there'll be a lot more heart attacks. You know, actually, we talk about old people. Heat waves are really dangerous for older people in this country.
Not as dangerous as cold weather, though, so global warming is actually saving lives. And that's true.
I'm not engaging with that.
OK.
But I loathe all of this safetyism culture that basically we have to scare everyone constantly that they're about to die from something all the time. All the time. We can't have anything. We can't have anything anymore because you can't drink, you're going to die. You can't eat this, you're going to die. It's cold, you're going to die. It's hot, you're going to die.
All right. Well, can I just talk about something that I feel weirdly, I think, passionate about, which is the decline of British Airways. So this is an airline that is the standard bearer for Britain, and it is now nothing more than a budget airline. I've had some catastrophic experiences on British Airways. Clearly, once they dropped me at the wrong airport, the toilet was overflowing with faeces and urine.
And then you left home.
And then, yeah. There's no, you go there, oh, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we're out of hot food. Right, well, you made it to row 6, so you packed enough hot food for ridiculous. Anyway, now, business class passengers flying short haul might not be happy to hear that the airline is going to axe its hot breakfast service on 8 of its shortest routes from this Wednesday. So rather than being served the full English that Club Europe passengers are used to, the breakfast will be continental, which will be a fruit plate, a yoghurt and a pastry. So it's basically what you get at a Premier Inn. Like, not even at the breakfast lunch. What's that bit that sometimes they leave lying around in the room for a little bit? I mean, I'll be honest, I've never in my life have I flown business class, OK? But I imagine if I did, I'd expect something better.
Well, I've flown business class and had the British Airways full breakfast on Club Europe short haul, and it is absolutely delicious. And normally you get the choice of either the continental or the full English. I go for the full English because it's nice. And you're absolutely right. You only get that at all if you turn left. If you turn right into the place that other people go,
the rest of
you
us,
get absolutely nothing. They used to give you a bottle of water, and then they said, actually, we're trialling not doing that anymore because of the environment. We don't want to have as much plastic. So they stopped giving you water.
Man, that should be up to you. British Airways shouldn't be deciding if you get water or not. Like, it should be up to me. If I want to save a dolphin or whatever, I can refuse the water.
And it's a plane. You're on a plane. That's emitting a little bit of carbon, I imagine.
I think they relinquished on the water ban because they realised it was so unpopular. But they used to have Marks and Spencer as the official provider of food on board.
Hateful.
Yes, but M&S food is good. It's reasonably priced.
Love it.
And I was always very happy with it.
Food, M&S.
And then they dropped the deal because they wanted to make more profit. And so now I went on BA recently and was so disappointed. It's a lot more expensive than EasyJet or Ryanair, but it's the same quality or lack of.
For nothing. Seriously, I don't get it at all.
And don't even start.
Oh, this has got us
Can I just say as well?
Very quick.
Business class, right? You pay you buy a business class fare, then you pay £90 to choose your seat in business class. They don't give you a free seat choice. You've got to pay again to choose your seat in business class.
Right. I mean, look, I suppose what they say is that everything's going up, isn't it? Fuel costs, everything like that, and they are the standard bearer, and they would strive for the highest experience that you could possibly get. All of that. You know, I don't want to be too... And the cabin, by the way, this is not a remark on British Airways cabin crew...
Who are lovely.
...or pilots, who are absolutely lovely. It is a big, top corporate decision. It just feels to me as though it's an airline in decline, and because it's the British flag bearer, with it,
Aegean.
declines.
And they're making lots of money right now.
You get a seat, you get everything. Aegean Airways, that's the way forward.
Yeah.
Greeks.
If you go into the Aegean, though, I imagine. If you're not, then...
Well, yeah, it's difficult if you're not going somewhere.
Tricky. Yeah. Anyway, right, on that note, we are going to give you a final run-through of tomorrow's newspaper front pages, Tuesday's front pages, the Metro. After Trump's Venezuela takeover, they're asking who's next. The Guardian, Maduro says he's a prisoner of war and he denies all the charges in court. And it's going to be interesting. Look, the United States have got to prove all these charges, haven't they? And he's been indicted, they've got to prove it, they hope they've got the proof. The Sun, when your trophies are nil and you've cost 30 mil, that's Amorim. And that's Ruben Amorim, who has been sacked by Manchester United, who seems very happy about it. The Daily Mail, Greenland raid will finish NATO, Trump is warned. Is he going to go for Greenland? The Express, new warning over hidden danger of salt in your diet. Didn't get round to that tonight, surprisingly. The Mirror, Mad Men. They're basically saying that Trump's mental and so is Maduro. The Times, defiant Maduro tells court, I'm a prisoner of war. The Eye, over 70s face a driving ban for failing new eye tests. The Daily Telegraph, I'm a prisoner of war. You get the gist there. So there we are. What will tomorrow hold? I'll be with you from 9 p.m. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Thank you to my wonderful panel. I'm going to throw you over now to Bev Turner, who's got the next show coming right your way.
Thank you, Patrick. It is so nice to be doing the Late Show live from London tonight. But of course, it is the biggest story across the world. What is coming out of the White House this evening? We're going to be talking to some key people over in Washington, D.C. I'm going to have a panel here as well in the studio. And I'd love to hear from you at home. I'm going to be with you until 2 o'clock in the morning, 9 p.m. if you're watching Eastern Time in the US. Stay with me.
Hello from the Aurora Collection Resort here in Lapland. We're on an amazing Arctic adventure to celebrate our greatest cash giveaway, a simply stunning £85,000.
And in 2026, we're giving you the chance to win it all.
For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrants must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. The winner may be contacted live on GB News. Week commencing the 9th of February 2026. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good